All right. Good evening, everybody. The truth is here on this Friday afternoon. I know a lot of y'all getting off of work now, coming home now, relaxing. So kick back, grab a beer, and let's talk some gaming. And as I say, Iraq, the unlimited truth. It comes to you live to your homes when the truth is needed. And this week, Iraq, the truth is definitely needed. But before I get started, introduce yourself, Iraq.
Hey man, this is Erock X, the Don King of Xbox, the hype man for the Xbox brand, and we are the exiled, and it's always great to come here and support my little bro as part of the unlimited truth, so we can get that truth out there. But sometimes the truth is inconvenient and it's
Yeah.
uncomfortable, so you just got to deal with it.
Yeah, and speaking of uncomfortable truths, it's time to make a confession today, Iraq, because I've been jaded with the gaming community recently, man. I've been frustrated, I've been let down, I've been annoyed. Part of me just wants nothing to do with the bullshit lately, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it at first, I was gonna do my little shit talking, having fun with that PS Spartacus nonsense, officially revealed as PS Essential and whatever else garbage they threw out.
Mm-hmm.
But yesterday, and you also made a video about it today, you brought something to my attention, man. And that was that E3 2022 was canceled.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for me, E3 has been a part of my gaming world for pretty much a long ass time, man.
Since you
When
was a
I
kid.
Yeah, since I was a kid, exactly. Since I was a kid, E3 has been around from. Well, I mean, we're talking about me just being a little what 6, maybe 7-year old when the Saturn was announced and back in '95 and Sony did their press conference with the 299 and all that shit.
Yep.
This was stuff. This that was I was a kid during that era, right? You fast forward to the Xbox 360 years, which to me they weren't their best years. That was the years they had shit like Usher on stage and kids playing with the Kinect. You know,
Fucking Cirque.
yeah.
Did I mention that, or was Cirque du Soleil on there one year?
No, you're spot on, man. I think
Okay,
that's
okay.
2012. I think that's 2012. They had Cirque du
Okay.
Soleil. I remember they had Usher singing for the Just Dance thing.
Oh
They had,
man.
yeah. I don't know. I don't know how the 360 was a hit because I don't know how it survived them E3s. Uh,
Either man.
you know,
Yeah, so they had some kids playing with connectimals and
Connect,
shit. It
yeah,
was
man.
wild, boy.
They weren't the best of times, but there were some spectacular times, like the one where Peter Moore on stage revealing his tattoo of
Yeah,
GTA 4.
yeah.
Stuff like that just go down as legendary E3 moments, right? Hell, even the infamous E3 2013, and you've talked about it a bit. And we've even talked about before in the past that people always get mixed up with the reveal. That E3 in 2013 was actually amazing because that was when we first saw games like Quantum Break and Sunset
Mm-hmm.
Overdrive,
Mm-hmm.
new IPs, gameplay. Um, I'm going to be real with you, Iraq. When I was watching your video earlier, it hit me that 2013, that was my favorite E3 until last year's E3, which I also thought was amazing for similar reasons. New IPs, we had great reveals like Forza Horizon 5 last year or Sunset Overdrive in 2013. Just stuff we didn't see. And it was just a nice shock to see new IPs and new games and gameplay, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when I see that E3 is canceled and see that gamers are celebrating it, I it just kind of hit me that am I a dinosaur, man? Is this what it feels like getting old, Erock, where you're just this out of touch dinosaur, and the new wave of people just don't care or like the shit you did to where that apparently a lot of gamers don't give a fuck about E3 anymore. Which to me, I always said it was the Super Bowl of gaming. It was that
Mm-hmm.
1 week of the year where the gaming world came together and it was a trade show that gave fans what they wanted. How
Mm-hmm.
many just great moments have there been throughout the 20 or so years of E3's history? And to see the gaming community say shit like oh, E3 is dead. ever since Sony left it and all this other dumb shit, man. It's just another disappointment from the gaming community. And you know what the worst part of it all, E-Rock, is? The worst part to me is that we got to deal with Jeff Keighley's shitty Summerfest thing. Just as it was canceled, I saw that he announced Summerfest is returning in 2022. I was like, oh God, no. Them shows are fucking boring, E-Rock. I can't be the only one who thinks that way, right? Jeff is a terrible host oh, you remember in 2020 the one with the Xbox show, and he had people on there who didn't even know what fucking Halo was and all that stuff.
Yep. Yep.
Is that what people want now, or do they just want these lifeless Nintendo Direct like events, 30 minutes of basically trailers and people, and that's it, man. There's always like a flair to E3, man, a hype, just something that just drew me in as a gamer. And to see that it was canceled this year, for me personally, it's upsetting. Because, like I said, the Super Bowl gaming, man, the time that Ubisoft, EA, Microsoft, Bethesda, Activision, which is all under Microsoft now, so they could do their own E3 at this point.
Real
But
rap.
all these publishers and developers came together and gave us what we wanted. So, as I did my monologue, I just wanted to get your thoughts, man. What are your thoughts on E3 being canceled? Do you feel it as strong as I do? Do you not care? Are you in the case that it is what it is? The world's gonna move on. What are your thoughts?
Um. Well, we should point out. Am I coming in loud and clear?
Yeah, you're good.
We should point out that according to the report from the E3 organizers, it is coming back in 2023.
Yeah.
But we don't know what form it's coming back in. We have no idea what that's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, it is a bummer. It's a bummer to me. It's a bummer to people like Mr. 100, who him and his crew out in Los Angeles, they went there every year religiously and went on the floor and it was our Comic-Con. It was our WrestleMania. It was our Super Bowl.
Exactly.
It was our trade show where if it ever came to your city, which it didn't, it stayed in Los Angeles. But for those who had the finances to go fly out LA or catch an Amtrak out to LA, you got to meet and greet people and developers and people in the gaming community you wouldn't have normally met. You got to bump elbows with Cliff Bleszinski and Aaron Greenberg and Mr. 100 and the Big Kahuna. And you got to see and play some of these games that were coming. And, to hear these gamers so ambivalent about it, like, oh, well. You mentioned earlier, man, E-Rock, is this what it's like to get older? You become this dinosaur where you just don't get what's going on with people anymore. This is exactly what it's like. I'm not interested in a world where every summer we have to look forward to Geoff Keighley. I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in him. I think him and everyone that associates with him is disingenuous. Even though I was excited for the return of G4 TV, I stopped watching them because, as the weeks and months went along, I saw that poor Adam Sessler was in charge of a shit show with a bunch of people who I wouldn't be caught dead hanging out with at a Starbucks. A bunch of hipsters, a bunch of people now who have co-opted our hobby, and nobody stands for anything anymore. Unlimited production. Nobody could just say, look, I like Xbox or I like PlayStation or I'm a Xbox guy or I'm a Nintendo guy. But I respect your opinion and you're free to game on whatever you want to game on. And every year, E3 was the glue that brought all three sides together. Even the fourth side, the PC elitists.
Yeah.
E3 was that shining light once a year where we could see this new game that Cliff Bleszinski and Epic was working on called Gears of War. It was the one place where you could go to and see Bethesda's big new game called Skyrim. That was the place where, we saw things. And yeah, sometimes E3 wasted too much time on shit like Peter Molyneux and Project Milo. Sometimes it wasted too much time on Connectimals. Sometimes in the mid 2000s it wasted too much time on Ken Kutaragi from Sony and Phil Harrison stepping on stage playing air guitar and telling the fucking world how great they were. Sometimes it wasted too
Yeah,
much
yeah,
time on
there's
shit like that. But for the most part, it's going to be missed. It's going to be missed by a lot of people, and to see gamers just so blasé about it. What happened to y'all? Do y'all even enjoy gaming anymore? Like, I look forward to E3 to see all the new shit.
yeah,
So now, hopefully, Microsoft will just have their own show since they own everything. They could just have their own show. But I mean, it's just crazy, man. It's just weird, a weird time we're living in, where entertainment is just taking a turn for the left. And I don't. It's been co-opted by a bunch of people who don't really care about it. So
yeah,
hopefully, who's ever in charge of E3 can reorganize it and make it better next year. And all of this trash talking about E3 hasn't been good since Sony left. That's a bunch of fanboy fucking rhetoric
hmm,
because you guys were cheering the loudest at E3 2013. So I don't want to hear that shit. You motherfuckers was cheering the loudest. Yay! $3.99, go Sony. Then all of a sudden Sony can't compete and don't want to be a part of E3 no more. Has nothing to show, and oh, this is a good thing. So I mean, it's just more lunacy in this gaming industry. Nintendo withdrew years ago because they had nothing to show. They
yeah,
started
yeah.
doing they
You know
started
what?
doing Nintendo Directs where they could control their narrative.
Yep, exactly. Because you know what? I remember that too because they had these little puppets of Reggie and all them shit,
Yep.
and their reaction, yeah, their reaction was, "My God, what is this?" They threw in the towel with that puppet E3 they did, man, and you knew that was it for them. They're and you know how Nintendo is. They operate in 1996, not
Yep.
2022.
Yep.
So so they don't get games, so they don't get modern games, basically. So they threw in the towel, man. Sony did the same shit about 3 4 years ago, and Microsoft was the one that was say, hey man, let's give the gamers what they want. Even though the gaming world is screaming Xbox has no games and Xbox need to do better and Xbox is monopoly, they were still going out there year after year, you know, year after year, giving us what they want. Oh, and 100 said that E3 Nintendo is still on E3 floor. I guess they just don't do a traditional presentation if they're still on the E3 floor. Which
Okay.
hey, E3. I mean, 100 goes to E3, so I'm gonna trust his word there.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But still, it's not the same Nintendo that was there in like 2002 during the GameCube years. That was actually competing and putting out games like Eternal Darkness and stuff like that.
Hmm.
That
Hmm.
adults would actually want to play. Yeah, but the point is, man, and you were spot on about a lot of it. It's just that it's I don't know. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the one who's just being disillusioned, and I just can't keep up with this new breed here, man. Because it's old just to. I don't want to talk about exclusives all the time. You know what I'm saying, Erock? And I don't want to just talk about the same old shit. I don't want to just shit on PlayStation fans, even though they deserve it all the fucking time. Sometimes I just want to kick back and enjoy games, man.
Yeah.
And that was E3. Last year's E3. What was so fun about it was hanging out with you and Hebot while it was going on, and just your reaction. I remember your reaction to the Forza Horizon 5. Like, how the fuck is this a real game? And all this
Yeah.
and this, man.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and, and and stuff like that. I just don't know. You know, may, I don't know. Maybe it's because these young folks, these people in their 20s and their teens, they grew up on the internet, so they don't go outside like we do, so they don't cherish that kind of camaraderie anymore. But that's how that's the part of the fun of it all. Hell, that was the big thing of 100's video on E3 he did the other day or yesterday, I mean. So yeah, man. E3 being canceled, it's again, it's upsetting to me. I don't like you. I don't want to live in a world where every summer we got to sit through Jeff Keighley's boring ass summer shows. Where which honestly just show a trailer if that's the case. You know what I'm saying? You don't need Jeff Keighley to bore us to death talking about some nonsense for 20 minutes before anything good is revealed. Just put out the trailer on YouTube if that's the case. You know, if I'd rather live in the world of that than these boring than substituting E3 with this boring bullshit. Because
I'm
yeah,
sorry. Go ahead.
no, I was done.
And you know, we sit here and we're joking about the E3s of the past with Usher and Cirque du Soleil, and over the past couple of years, it has gotten right to the gaming. And we joke about the one year that PlayStation showed a dude playing a fucking didgeridoo and shit, or whatever the fuck it was. But
Ridge Racer.
yeah, but at least they treated it like it was a spectacle. They
Yeah.
treated it like it was the fucking the Grammys or the Oscars or some shit. And I kind of miss that pageantry. I kind of miss them treating it like this is major shit here. Which it is, man. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. It makes more money than the movies, and
Right.
hopefully 2023 E3 can return to. I don't know what their plans are for it. I hope it can return to its grandeur.
Yeah.
But I'm,
Oh, you know,
I feel I feel bad as canceled too, because I know Mr. 100.
yeah,
He when people come to town, he hosts, and
yeah.
they go out and party and shit, and it must have been like the Super Bowl for them every year.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're not gonna have it this year.
Yeah, and that genuinely sucks. I've always wanted to go in person myself. Just to experience
Hell yeah,
and
hell
something.
yeah.
Yeah, and something I do want to bring up here, because for years, especially when Sony pulled out, and there's this narrative that E3 is dying. Actually, um, if you and I did the research before, attendance was actually going up, except for the pandemic in 2020. Before then, the last few years of E3, attendance was going up, and it was just, it went up actually quite significantly, if I remember correctly. So,
Wow.
yeah, so this idea that it was dying and on its way out, no, no, it wasn't. And there's been a lot of victims of this post-COVID world. I don't want E3 to be one of them. You know what I'm saying?
Nah,
I
nah,
mean,
nah.
hell, if WrestleMania is this weekend and is being held in Dallas, if they could, throw people into that fucking arena, you could have people in California and LA for a week for this convention, man. That's all I'm saying.
For two nights,
Yeah,
and ain't none of them fools worried about being in a stadium full of 70,000 people catching the fucking the epsilon
yeah,
variant. They
yeah,
like, yo, we going out.
yep,
So y'all could have had E3 at the Chrysler Theater out in LA or wherever it is. One of my biggest bones of contention about E3 was I wish that it had hit, and switch it up each year. Maybe come to Dallas,
yeah,
maybe come to Houston, or come to New York or Boston or someplace close to
hmm,
where, if it's near enough to you, you can hop on a train and travel to see it,
yeah,
instead of traveling, I don't know how many miles, 2,000, 3,000 miles to go to LA to see the damn thing. But I mean, maybe that's in the cards for the future. I would like to see E3 when they come back start traveling and going to more cities. I would like to see that. But yeah, man, it's kind of crazy that it's not going to be at E3 this year for the first time since, I don't know, 1993.
hmm,
Because back when you was a kid, there was no such thing as YouTube. There
yeah,
was no electronic frontier. So we only found out about E3 if you either watched it if MTV was showing it.
mhm,
God, remember that MTV?
yeah,
Or through the video game magazines like Electronic Gaming Monthly or
yeah,
Insight, or something like that. And
yeah,
that's how we got up to speed with the new shit that was coming out. But
hmm,
E3 has always been very significant. And anybody that tries to downplay it is just a fool.
yeah, yeah. And hey, Tuck Master, thank you for joining me, man. And introduce yourself real quick, Tuck.
Hey everybody, this is your boy DJ Cookmaster 785, the original pony killer. I can't stand ponies. So let's get this show rolling.
Yeah, hey, Tuck, and as Iraq and I were discussing, this year's E3 is canceled, man. What are your thoughts on it? Do you care? Do you not care? Are you like me and kind of upset about it because it's the Super Bowl of gaming, something that you always look forward to? What are your thoughts on the matter?
Well, I mean, I think the matter, I'm very, very disappointed in it because it's something that see every year in, year out. So, but the journalists, they got what they wanted this year. That's the way I feel about it. Because I know they didn't like any of the regular casuals almost doing a better job than them, like these YouTubers and all that stuff, almost doing a better job than them. In which is the truth. You got people like yourself, Unlimited, Hebot, 100, all the people that report good gaming and everything. And I think some of these journalists might be a little bit jealous of that. Yeah, but I'm very disappointed because that's a day that I usually just take off for 2 straight days, which I'm going to take off 2 straight days regardless because I know Microsoft going to do their event. But now I'm very disappointed. I mean, I think it should go on, but maybe next year, they get everything together for next year. So, I mean, I'm very disappointed this year, but hey, it is what it is. There ain't nothing you can do about it. I'm just hoping I want to see Microsoft come up with their show and do good with their show, and that's it. So everybody else don't even count. I mean, I want to see what they're gonna do. Basically, what they're gonna do, what they're gonna talk about their games. I mean, I know Microsoft will still do their show. We just don't know when. At least I think they still gonna do their show. But that's really about it, y'all.
Yeah, thank you, Tuck. And can y'all hear me?
Yeah, you coming loud and clear.
Good. Yeah, thank you, Tuck, man. Great words. And I think we got out what we want to say about our thoughts on E3. Like I said, E-Rock made a video earlier, so I'm just kind of piggybacking off of that and want to get my thoughts out there. But to move on, hey, so as of yesterday, it's been 8 years since Phil Spencer took over the head of Xbox, and in that it's been a wild 8 years, a quick 8 years too, because it feels like just yesterday that was announced. Mm-hmm. And in that time, I gotta say, I think Phil Spencer has done a wonderful job with Xbox. I don't think he's perfect. There's some things that I'd probably do differently. And it'll be nice if he was a bit more of an asshole about things with the gaming community or the gaming media. But for the most part, you can't deny his success. You can't deny that Xbox is what, E-Rock, a $600 billion company. You can't deny that Game Pass has over 25 million subscribers. You can't deny that Xbox Live has over 100 million users. You can't deny the growth Xbox had. Blockbuster deals like the Bethesda and Activision deal, which shook gaming. Like, those deals are so big, it changed our perception of gaming. All this under the Phil Spencer era. To like his impact for somebody who's just such a nice guy, right? He's not a big personality, really, but his impact on gaming and on Xbox, it can't be understated. One of the first things he did, and I remember this interview like it was yesterday. He said that, all right, we're pretty much just got to go back to the drawing board, right? And they did a soft reboot with the Xbox One, calling it the Xbox One S. And, not only calling it the Xbox One S, they also had the One X in development at the time. So back in 2016, when that S, it was the sleek console, gorgeous looking console, sleek, modern design, everything you wanted from the Surface team, I believe, right? And since that reboot, you really felt the stamp Phil Spencer has had on the gaming community and on Xbox. And before I get your thoughts, hey, Hebot, the world's most powerful gaming historian, thank you for joining me, man. Introduce yourself real quick.
Hey, what's going on, brothers? It's your boy Hebot coming back at you. It's
the aliens already touched him already.
With the Unlimited Truth. Hopefully we talk some of these games and some of these topics. I guess you got to fill me in so I know what's going on.
Oh yeah, hey. Well, you know what? Since you just got here, let me get your thoughts on it, Hebot. So it's been 8 years. As of yesterday, it's been 8 years since Phil Spencer took over for Xbox. What are your thoughts on his job overall, man? Do you like it? Did you not like it? Some changes you make? I just want to hear your thoughts on it.
Tuck,
I mean, like a lot of us, right? E-Rock especially, because E-Rock he was very vocal about it too. Even though I was kind of like in the same boat with him at the time. There was a lot of skepticism because of his approach of what he wanted to do, because there were things that were never done before. They were kind of unorthodox for the gaming scene. Things that didn't make really sense, right, at all. Especially when we've already been accustomed and we've already been conditioned to the ways of how gaming has always worked. That they make physical games, we go buy them, it supports the dev, and we do it by buying games day one, right?
Yep.
And that's how they make success, right? But then this man said, you know what? We're going to try a different approach, because before that, if you guys remember, before he was even the head or announced the head, a couple years before that, he said that one of the biggest issues, right? And I think that was at the very tail end of the 360 era that was going on with gaming, which was very true at that time, was that many people were not buying the games. And that meant exclusives as well, right? They just weren't buying, they weren't selling enough. And I guess they weren't making enough money based on what they were paying, right? The returns weren't as big as what they were paying out, right? And people called them crazy. Oh, what is he talking about? You're crazy. Game sell, blah 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 blah. Even though the stats were out there, even though we all saw that Gears Judgment didn't do as well as all the other Gears, even though we saw God of War Ascension didn't do as well as the other God of Wars, even though we saw that Fable didn't sell as well as they expected it to, a lot of games were not selling. I believe the ones that were doing the most money were multi-plats, like Call of Duty, like Battlefields. And they saw this data, right? And starting into the generation of Xbox One, obviously, I think determined a lot of the reason why they decided to take the approach, because most of the games on Xbox were not selling due to the low sales of the console right off the hit, because it was getting slaughtered by the media, it was getting slaughtered by the haters, the fake Xbox fans that call themselves Xbox fans, but really are Xbox fans when Xbox is doing good, but when they're doing bad, they hide behind the closet. What we're talking about, right? So basically, they saw this and they were like, we got to do something. We have to do something to entice the people to make that dive, to take the approach and buy Xbox, because they're going to feel like they're getting a value for their buck. Because we're not winning this race. We're not going to win this perception race. There's no way, because the media was the one that did the most damage, period. And then it didn't help that every time you went to a GameStop, they were like, oh yeah, buy a PlayStation because you can't play your games on the Xbox, when that was a lie, because it never happened. That was just
they was fighting the war on three fronts. Goddamn.
Oh yeah, absolutely. With the stores, with the media, on social, within themselves internally, where there was to a point where we all know now they were thinking about selling off the division. You get what I'm saying? So when Phil came in, when Phil came in and he made these bold moves, and not only did he make these bold moves, you saw the results like almost instantaneously. You saw the results. It was working. Things were shifting. Things were changing. E-Rock did a video earlier talking about how, when he was talking about the E3, where, even though perception-wise and sales-wise, Xbox didn't win, but in the end of the day, they actually won because they had the most success and made the most biggest evolution, right, in gaming in that generation, right? They turned the tides and made gaming turn into a different direction, where now it's probably going to be, the way moving forward with every company, right? In some way, shape, or form. So what Phil has done, he's more than warranted. He deserves it. He is a very solid reason why Xbox is here where it is right now, and the stats, the money, all of that is the product, the growth within Xbox, the division, is proof of that. They're almost at $700 billion just the Xbox division alone,
Jesus.
right? So there's no way in hell they're doing something wrong if they're $700 billion when Nintendo and Sony are still at like 73 billion or at 45 billion. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
There has to be something they're doing that's right that us, the consumers, the fan, and media and social media, we don't see it. We don't see it. But at the end of the day, where does it count? That Microsoft, the company, sees it. And they obviously didn't open up the purse and gave Phil the freedom where he said, Satya himself, Phil Spencer, we have an open wallet and pocketbook for you. Whatever you need, you ask, you're going to get it. Anything.
He bought real quick.
Mhm.
I've always said, of all the great things Phil has done, the best thing he ever did was convince Nadala to pretty much give him free reign with Xbox, give him that open checkbook.
Right.
Because
And
ever
trusting
since
him.
then,
Trusting in him.
ever since then, it's been a different animal.
Well, let me say one more thing, not to go too long, because that way I know E-Rock has something to say, and Brother Tuck. Phil, right? People are looking at like, oh, he's only been there 8 years and he got rewarded for 8 years. A lot of people think that's the story. But the reason why Phil knew how to connect with gamers and in touch with gamers is because Phil's been at Microsoft since he was 18 years old.
Damn.
And he was the head of the division of the Xbox game division all that time. He was the one that made the decisions of games like Ninja Blade, games like Record be approved, games like everybody think it was Don Matrick, but it wasn't. It was Phil in that department, right? The remake of Killer Instincts, the Rise to the Rome, all that stuff was Phil that got Don Matrick to approve it, and Peter Moore before him. You see, because Phil was a gamer first and foremost. Even though he's more PC gamer, but he still was a gamer. He understood what gamers want, valued, and the way that they think and their mindset. So when he gets this award of lifetime achievement, I don't see it as he's only getting the award because he's been doing great for the last 8 years for Xbox. I see it as he's been doing great for Xbox as a whole since he started when he was 18 years of age. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And a lot of people don't realize that. They think, oh, this guy just came out of nowhere. No. You go look at his fucking resume, and you go look at his bio, and it tells you his entire history with Xbox and all of his positions and what he's done. And that is why he, more than anyone, deserves not only that reward, but the position that he has right now within Xbox division. I can't think of someone more worthy than him other than Peter Moore, right? That would deserve that spot because they understand gaming, gamers, the culture, and the community.
Yeah,
So that's my thoughts on it, That's
Yeah.
my thoughts on it.
yeah, expertly put, he bought, man. Absolutely,
Mhm.
brilliant breakdown, and that's why I'm always glad when you show up.
Thank
Master, you there? All right, E-Rock.
Yeah, because that nigga that ducked out for some
Yeah.
some gristle burgers and macaroni and cheese. So we won't hear from him in about 14 minutes.
Hey, yeah, hey, E-Rock. So, what are your thoughts, man, on Phil Spencer? As of yesterday, it's been 8 years since he's been head of Xbox. What are your thoughts on him?
Man, you know what? You're gonna find out in this world, especially the last couple of weeks, in any walk of media life, whether it's celebrity, whether it's movies, whether it's entertainment, there are always going to be haters. There's always going to be never wills, and then there's people who, when they can change your mind, and you can say to yourself, "Wow, you changed my mind." That means a lot. That's who Phil Spencer is. Phil Spencer was a guy who, when he first came on board, I was ambivalent about him.
Mhm.
I'm a
Mhm.
big more Steve Ballmer dude, right? A lot of folks didn't like Don Matrick. They didn't do Unlimited Heat during and after E3. But these were executives that they just said what they felt. So I really didn't know anything about about Phil Spencer to the extent that Hebot did. I didn't know he was there since he was 18. And I
Yeah,
knew he
yeah.
hired. They hired this nigga right out of high school. You know what I mean? He been there. He been in there hanging out with the janitors and all the IT guys. He been there since day one. I didn't know all
They
that.
won. Yep.
But you know, I mean, I was the dude that when he came on board, and he came on board and just started like he just started just cutting red tape and slashing stuff, man. Just slashing. And the first thing to go was Scalebound. And everybody, we never heard the end of it for 8 years. We never heard the end of it for 8 years. But you know, we all know the story about that. We don't have to keep going back and opening that's a dead horse. And Phil handled that, right? Um, he canceled Fable Legends, and I was mad because I played Fable Legends. I waited damn near a year to get that beta. You just couldn't get the Fable Legends beta. You had to wait, right? And I said, man, what are you doing? This is the first good Fable in years. This is Fable back to what Fable should be after all of that Fable the Journey and that horrible Fable 3. So he canceled that, man. I'm like, yo, man, what is this guy doing? Like, yo, Microsoft, get him up out of there. Get this dude up out of there. Ain't he too nice? Get him up out of there. But in time, I began to see, and he dissolved Lionhead Studios. I'm like, what the hell is this guy doing? But as painful as dissolving Lionhead Studios was, I began to slowly see the method behind this dude's madness. Then to add salt to injury, it comes out in 2015, a few years earlier, announces that from here on out, all Xbox exclusives are going on PC. And I still question, what is this guy doing? Some people question it too much, right? It had to get clowned in public by Phil Spencer. But in time, as the revenue began rolling in, as the PC gamers became part of the Xbox ecosystem, which they still won't admit nor acknowledge, right? Then he introduced Game Pass, right? Which in its limited form when it dropped in 2017, I was like, yo, I'm with this. I can play all of Xbox's old games. I had no idea what the long-term plan was. Then he goes and introduces a game like Sea of Thieves. And everybody has a good laugh about Sea of Thieves. Oh, Sea of Z's. It's diabetic dog shit. Yo, Kraken is lacking. Here it is, man. Here it is, 6 years later, or however long it's been, 4 years later, or 5 years later. Who's having the last laugh? 25 million players, ever evolving. He had a different vision for where gaming was going to go. Gaming as a service, Xbox as a service to get you into the Xbox ecosystem. Playing a game against all devices. A game like Sea of Thieves, this massively open, evolving thing that evolves over years. And a lot of his ideas really made no sense until you realize, this guy's emulating Netflix. It took a while for all of the pieces to click on what this guy was doing, and people fought against it. Legions of people fought against it. These YouTubers, these influencers, these people in the media, they were supposed to be representing Xbox, like Ryan McCaffrey. They all fought against it. Dustin Legary, they all fought against it. 1080p. Now they're all singing the praises of Game Pass. They're all saying the praises of Game Pass. It takes a very special individual to make you change your mind and say, hey, Phil Spencer, I was wrong about you. He had a bold vision. Xbox was just like PlayStation and Nintendo, this static company with a static box who worried about how many boxes are we going to sell this week? We're not selling enough boxes. What do we do? What do we do? And he somehow sat down with Satya Nadella and the rest of the Microsoft bigwigs and said, this is not the way. We have to emulate these people over here, Netflix, who realized they are not a hardware provider. Netflix could have sold you hardware. They were smarter than that. Netflix said, no, we're not a hardware provider. We're not going to put a Roku device or Roku box in your house. We're going to put an app in your house so you can access us anywhere. Now give us that $19 a month. When Phil did that, That's when
Mhm.
Xbox's fortunes turned around, and now everybody can play Sea of Thieves. Everybody can play Horizon Forza Horizon 5. Everybody could play Halo Infinite, and you still got people who are stuck in yesterday, stuck in 2006. But exclusives. But you need games for people, so they want to buy the box. That has not stopped Xbox's sales. In fact,
No,
as
it
we
has
see,
not.
we have the data now. We
Yep.
have the data. Xbox's sales have increased.
Yep.
They're out.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They
E-Rock,
outsold 2 months in a row already.
oh man, E-Rock got cut off.
He's cutting. He's just cutting off. That's his mic.
Oh, I'm
It'll
sorry.
come. It'll come back.
Can
It'll
you
come back.
can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can
We
hear
can.
you.
All because this dude saw in 2016 and 17 what I couldn't see when he was canceling Scalebound, when he was canceling Fable, when he was introducing Sea of Thieves and Game Pass. He saw something that I couldn't see, and now he's reaping the benefit. He deserves Executive of the Century because he made me believe, he made me understand that a business doesn't have to be apples and oranges. It could be apples, oranges, and pears. So Phil Spencer, my hat's off to you. You're a genius.
Yeah. Absolutely. Is it okay if I add? Is there something I can add on to what E-Rock's points were too?
Yeah, go ahead, Ebot.
Well, because he hit some really good points that I wanted just to add on to. And the best part about that, E-Rock, right, with the points that you hit, like when he chopped down Lionhead Studios and Scalebound, at the time, everybody thought he was nuts, like you said. Like, what the fuck is this guy doing? But then, long term, he redeemed himself because the truth came out, right? We all now know it was because Platinum Games just was being irresponsible. They weren't doing their end of the market. We all know now that he chopped Lionhead Studios because they didn't have the resource and open purse at the time to keep them open, because he said that's the one thing he wishes he could have kept preserved at the time, but couldn't. Right? The same way we found out that they never tied Bungie down, and that it was Bungie that wanted to leave, and they gave them that freedom, and they never told Bungie, you have to change what you're doing. He did all this and got redeemed while doing it, because everything that didn't make sense at the time, for most of us, for the entire gaming industry, everybody, guess what? He got the last laugh because he was never wrong.
This is what I can't stand about this gaming community. Why can't motherfuckers just admit they was wrong? Ever.
Right.
Why?
Yeah.
Why can't he I understand that wisdom comes with age, but goddamn, man, some of these motherfuckers is our age, dude.
Absolutely. Yeah. And
Just admit you was wrong, like I did.
Yeah, and like in any conversation, you could agree, you could disagree. That's fine. That's part of being adult. But at the end of the day, when something is right and you see it, right, point blank, and as clear and as vivid as this was, right, with Phil, there's no way that you can deny that we were wrong if you said something wrong. Because even I was wrong. You were wrong when we said this shit ain't gonna work with this game bad day and day, and we were fucking wrong. It did work, and it's worked beyond anything anyone could have ever imagined to this point. And that's the difference between being responsible adults and actually being real, than not being responsible and just playing the stupid card because you're more about the fanboy aspect of it, right? Which you could be, that's fine. But the truth is truth. It's like people saying, how can you sit there with a straight face and say, and I don't mean to change the subject, and say that what Sony's doing by adding both of their subscription, which is basically a nothing burger, right? And you're going to sit there and say that it's something special or that it's even comparable when it's completely not. It's a joke. It's an insult.
Yeah, it is
you see what I'm saying? It's a freaking insult to their fan base. But if you're not going to complain about it as a Sony fan, and you provide them the money and you support them, right? Then why should people like you, Unlimited, me, Tuck, Sega Man, why should we cry and telling you motherfuckers, oh, Sony's not the way, man. They just don't care. While you're gonna keep telling us, oh yeah, Sony's the way. I love their cock up my ass. You see what I'm trying to say?
You know,
It just don't make no sense.
hey, buying Activision and buying Bethesda is the
Oh, yeah.
biggest fu to all his haters.
Yeah.
I've never seen man. Forget about, and I love Peter Moore. Forget them.
Oh yeah.
This dude Phil made a raw power move. Like, god
Oh,
damn,
yeah.
that's the
Oh,
biggest
yeah.
fu to all the haters.
And that's the other L that I want to take, because if you know E-Rock and Unlimited, what did they do as soon as they found out Activision was what? Oh, they better leave Call of Duty on the PlayStation.
Yep.
They better not. How dare you? And guess what? Until they didn't announce that they'll leave them there, nobody stopped talking about it.
Exactly.
The minute that Phil them said, yeah, we'll leave it there, everybody stopped talking about it. Now it went back to, oh, Microsoft, a bunch of bitches, they buy shit and they put it on the other console anyway. That's what it went back to. You see what I'm trying to say? That proves to you right there.
You can look around at any form of media and find this is who people are now. You're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't.
You're damned if you don't.
So,
Absolutely.
So he should have just took it the fuck off of there. He kept it on Xbox.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. Absolutely. He should have. But then again, we don't know what belongs to
him. I've heard
him.
a lot of this here lately about when Sony bought Bungie. Oh, well, they got developers that made Halo. I'm saying, y'all, what y'all talking about? Half them dozen people that was from Bungie stay at Microsoft.
They don't.
So they going by that narrative about
they
because-
don't do research.
Huh?
PlayStation fans don't do research. They can't even do a Google search.
No, they don't do research at all. I mean, I'm like, how the heck can y'all go by a narrative that Bungie Halo and we got them because they got Halo, so they made Halo. I said, no, they don't make Halo no more. They used to, but they don't no more. So I mean, I'm just saying, man, y'all completely right about every daggone thing with Mike. I mean, with Sony. Sony is just there for hanging numbers, and that's it, and lies, and just lie. That's all they do is lie.
I can fuck the girl that worked down at the Kentucky Fried Chicken. That don't mean never get chicken. You dumbasses. You dumbasses.
So, yeah, I mean, I understand what y'all saying on that deal. And Phil Spencer has done a hell of a job, y'all.
And Chuck, you know what's the biggest problem with that deal too is they clearly came out and said that they're letting them do whatever they want on other platforms. That's because they don't have enough money. They didn't have enough money to tie down Bungie, to stay only on their platform. That's the reality.
Right.
Not only that,
Right.
not only that, remember, Bungie went to Microsoft and
Yes.
they wanted $1 billion less than what Sony paid for. So
Yes.
Sony ended up paying what $3.6 billion
Yes.
for a studio
Yes.
that's going to put games on other platforms
on everything else, right?
and have
On their terms. On their terms.
On their terms.
Sony
Sony got duped trying to react to
Activision.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Both those things
Exactly.
happen. Yeah, usually deals like that take a long time. For example, you know what happened with the Activision deal? We found out about it too soon, right? And I say that because right now, as we speak, the government is still, they're still doing their thing on
Trying to get involved.
monitoring.
Trying to get involved
to approve it and all this stuff, right?
Mhm.
So we found about it super early, and because of that, that's why people are trying to talk definitively about information we don't know about. Because remember, when the Bethesda deal was official, Phil Spencer came on that video on stage and said, "Yeah, games are going to be exclusive to Xbox." So that's all I'm saying. I'm not, just all I'm saying is the gaming community, they need to, that's one of the things that sucks about the internet age is that people don't know how to wait for shit. Be like it was in the 90s when we had to wait 3 months or a month for a month for each monthly magazine, or 3 months for some of them because of publication issues and stuff like that.
Well, by the time we got it, it was like 3 months old.
Yeah. By the time we got the info, it was 3 months old. Exactly. That's what I was trying to say. But the issues were monthly. But the point is, man, get some patience and let things play out. And I think that's what we should take away from the Phil Spencer era. It's just let Xbox play out. Just let Let them put their cards on the table and let it play out as it may. Because so far, it's worked brilliantly. You know,
Well,
we've
that's
got
the problem too. Unlimited. I'm sorry, real quick.
No. Go ahead.
That's the problem. People like us, right? Like me, E-Rock, Tuck, and you, right? Because we're in our 40s, and E-Rock just turned 53. It was your birthday today, right, E-Rock?
Yeah.
Happy birthday, E-Rock. That when we got stuff, it wasn't given to us with easy access. So whatever we got, we knew how to appreciate it for what it was, right? We took the good with the bad and we just embraced it, right? And tried to make the
Right.
best of it. But we live in a day and age where since everybody and everything is so accessible, you can't even hide a secret anymore. Nothing. Everything gets
Nothing.
leaked out. Everything gets fucking talked about. Everybody want to be an insider. Oh, I know an insider. I'm an insider. I know somebody knows somebody that's an insider.
Well, no,
That-
they fake. They fake insiders because
Right.
nobody predicted Bethesda, nobody predicted
Obviously.
Activision. Oh, they trying to protect Sony buying Square Enix, but they can't predict shit when it comes to Xbox.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's the problem because they're so spoiled because they have so much accessibility and ease of access, if you will, right? That when they get stuff, they don't got appreciation. It's like they're worrying about the next thing that's coming out before they even got what they just got.
Yeah.
It's like when
Alright.
we got all those games in the holidays, right?
Mm-hmm.
We got Forza, Halo, Gunk, and Crossfire, right? Pretty much back to back, right? And instead of worrying about that, we had gotten out. You saw Xbox motherfuckers worrying about, oh my God, Horizon Zero Dawn's coming out on PlayStation 5. What Xbox got to compete against that? Oh my God, what Xbox gonna do? We don't got no games. What they're gonna combat with that? You see what I'm saying? They don't worry about what they got. Instead, they're worrying about what hasn't even come yet.
Right.
And it doesn't make no sense. Like then you
did
go tell them,
alright.
then you go ask them, you play Halo? You beat it already? No, not yet. You beat Forza? No, not yet. Have you played the gun? No, I don't know if I'm gonna like it. It looks too kiddie-ish. You get what I'm saying? You hear stupid comments like that. Like gamers play games.
Yeah.
We got so many fucking games, third party, indies, first party, exclusive, whatever the case may be, timed exclusive, that we don't have enough time to catch up. We're never gonna catch up to our backlog library. That's just the truth. It ain't never gonna happen. I'm gonna die and I'm gonna have like thousands of games I've never played. And that's just the fact. And it's gonna be like that for everybody because when you got things like Game Pass and games coming out back to back to back, you gotta pick and choose. Am I gonna play Tales Innocent 2 or am I gonna play Tuning? And you gotta make a choice because you just don't have enough time. It's too time consuming. You just don't have enough time.
Yeah, that's right.
Or if you want to sit down and watch a movie, you got to pick that before you play a game. You want to sit down and make love to your girl, to your wife, you got to pick that before. You know what I'm saying? Like you just don't have enough time. You just don't have enough time, and you worrying about, oh my God, GT7 Sport that's coming out. What Microsoft got to compete against? And that's the shit that boils me up. Like, dude, go play your fucking games and stop worrying about what somebody else is getting. Because you ain't even playing your shit. And that's the problem now. Everything's ruined before it even gets to flourish, before it even gets to shine. Nobody looked at the Gunk. It's a nice little game, sweet game, not awesome little fun. You know, not bad at all. And they didn't even bother to try it out because they're worrying about what Horizon Zero Dawn gonna play like on PS5 in fucking April or March. You see, that's lunatic talk to me. That shit don't make no sense.
Exactly, Heatbot. And you know that's why I say, man, recency bias. And we even saw it with the YouTubers like Destin Legary, who 1 minute was this PlayStation fanboy, then the next, oh, where are the games, Xbox, as if they didn't just have the most successful holiday ever last year and all this other stuff. So man, that's actually absolutely.
Well, he did it. Remember, he did it once. He was the one that did the video saying, "Oh, Sony's getting all these games back to back. Seafood, GT Sport, Horizon. What does Microsoft got to compete?" He did it as soon as that shit started going, and you started seeing people on Twitter talking about it. He did it immediately.
Yeah, and them games flop harder than a soccer player, man. Them games.
Yes, sir.
Tuck. Hey, Tuck, were you trying to say something, man?
Well, it was like today. I went to work, and we got and Heatbot already I was always talking to Heatbot about this one guy. He's over there talking. I mean, he's been having his Xbox for almost like 3 weeks. Hadn't even hooked the damn thing up yet. He now almost had his Xbox Series X for 3 weeks. Hadn't even hooked the damn thing up yet. But here he is going to talk about how the Xbox is garbage, and how how he just enjoys gaming. But this is one thing I told him. I said, well, let me ask you this: you went on about a $500 box. You haven't hooked it up in 3 weeks. You haven't even hooked it up yet. Let me ask you this. You had to even buy an Xbox. All you had to buy the damn Game Pass. I said it straight to the face, you stupid jackass. All you had to do is go there and buy the Game Pass, play it on your PC. And I told him, I said, you ain't nothing but a stupid fuck. Everybody got quiet. I was right. Everybody got quiet. And they just said, well, Tay, he got you. Because why are you buying a $500 box and you ain't even hooked it up yet? But you always want to turn around and talk about the PS5, how superior it is and everything, and it's not. And they told me they say it's not. They say that Game Pass, and they went on and said today that doggone junk that Sony came out with today, they came out a couple of days ago. They said they're not even fooling with that junk. They say not fooling with it because it ain't nothing but junk. But he's so over to his PlayStation that he don't even realize. I said, dude, that is junk. I said, but number one, you don't even know if they're going to turn around. And this is what I told him. I said, but number one, you don't even know if they're going to turn around and enhance the graphics on them old ass games. Because Sony is not going to do it. You know that. And if they do it, shit, how about you going to cost you? They might charge you $10 for it to just enhance graphics on older games. After that, he left me alone for the rest of the doggone day. He didn't have nothing to say after that.
Well,
that was it, man.
That's how it is.
Look what came out today. I'm sorry, Unlimited. I don't know if you saw that little article that came out where it was saying that. Go ahead, Chuck. What were you gonna say? I'm sorry.
And he bought that Weird West.
Yeah.
That is a good game, man. Ooh.
Oh, is it? I haven't tried it yet. Yeah, I haven't tried it. I was trying Dreamscaper. That's on Xbox Game Pass.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I was trying that. I haven't tried that yet. I was trying that and playing. I'm really trying to beat Cobra Kai. It's really in depth. Yeah. It has a lot of grinding and stuff. Yeah. I'm really been playing that. Check it out today, real quick. They came out talk because it correlates to what you're saying. You know how they would keep rambling, saying all this stuff. Oh, Sony's gonna buy Square Enix. Sony's gonna buy From Software, and then the article came out saying that they freaking laid off a bunch of people to restructure their, the division, the PlayStation division, and shit. You know what I mean? That. And I'm like, so how you think you're gonna keep buying shit, but yet they're laying off people?
Wait. Sorry to cut you off. Wait a minute. They laid off 80 people. Where's the outrage, man? The initiative was causing a global crisis a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
The outrage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Where is the outrage on that?
They give themselves away with their own stupidity every time. Every single time. It's crazy. But that's how it is, man. That's the unfortunate state of gaming that we live in right now.
And let me ask you, why do every time when Sony come out with where they got a big announcement, and it don't come out to be dog doo-doo. But the Sony ponies, they always buy into it all. They come out with a big announcement. I mean, heck, I thought the last big announcement was supposed to be, and that was talking about that Game Pass. They kept that Game Pass ain't up a junk, but they said that was going to be a big announcement. And it came out to be the same announcement that we talked about a couple weeks ago. The same announcement. So, man, these ponies, man, I give up on them, man. They can go in and die with that Japanese box all they want to. And I'm taking a page from E-Rock's page. That junk box ain't nothing but a junk rat fuck up box.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
and I'm leaving it at that.
Yeah.
That's what I think about it, man.
Yeah, good stuff, Tuck, man. Love the passion. But we're going to bring up the final topic for today, and then we're going to call it a night and enjoy our weekends. So yeah, man. It's finally happened this week. Sony finally announced their Game Pass competitor, and yes, gaming media, it is a Game Pass competitor. You could try to switch the narrative all you want, but you can't simultaneously put out articles about how it compares with Game Pass and say it's not a Game Pass competitor. That makes no fucking sense. All right,
Yeah.
that's like saying HBO Max isn't a Netflix competitor because one has DC movies and the other doesn't. They're both a streaming service trying to target the audience in the same entertainment medium. So cut the
Mhm.
bullshit on that. And yeah, they finally announced it, and as expected, it's terrible. Cloud Saves is still hidden behind a paywall. Oh shit, he bought drop. Well, Cloud Save is still hidden behind a paywall. Backwards compatibility is hidden behind a paywall. That's right. You got to pay to play your old ass PS3, PS2, PS1 games, and
Wow.
There's a select few, so it's not nearly as robust as Xbox backwards compatibility program. Um, there's something else hidden. Oh, and demos. Demos are hidden behind a paywall. Fucking demos, guys. Not even the full game, but part of a game. And demos, they're always just like the first level, and then you can't play the shit again. So it it's and that's a part of their highest paid tier, and the even the tiered breakdown is needlessly. Well, I don't know if needlessly complicated is the right word, but the point is, if you pay monthly, if you're going to pay for a PlayStation Essential monthly, it's $18 a month, more expensive than Game Pass a month, right? Now it is less expensive if you pay annually, which I believe is $100 or $120, something like that, right? So it's slightly expensive, but you're not getting nearly as much on this PlayStation Essential, which again they specifically rebooted it to compete with Game Pass. And no, you're not gonna. So please cut the bullshit on how it doesn't compete. And I saw this live being pushed. Comparing Game Pass numbers with PlayStation Network's numbers. No, that's not how it works, folks. PlayStation now has like 3 million subscribers at most, and that's been around longer than Game Pass. All right, so the shit has flop written on over it. There's no game exclusives day and date, which yes, and I know PlayStation fans want that because last year when the MLB the Show went to Game Pass, they were all bitching. Oh, why isn't it day one on Sony's thing too? So spare me how that's better. Hey, thank you for joining Other Zinc, and I'll shout out the rest of you on a bit. Um, so yeah, so their competitor to Game Pass was finally announced. It was terrible, and I'm gonna start with E-Rock because I hadn't heard from him in a minute, man. Hey, what are your thoughts on this, man? Let's put this to rest for good. That's the goal of this final segment. We're gonna put it to rest for good, E-Rock. What are your thoughts on having to pay for cloud gaming, backwards compatibility, demos, and all that other garbage?
I think it's just par for the. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Can
we
you
can
guys
hear
hear me?
you.
Yeah, it's just par for the course for a fan base to just eats up anything that Sony puts out, praises anything
We
Sony
can hear
asking
you.
themselves why exclusive
Hey,
game.
hey, E-Rock, hey, you're having some mic issues there.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Sony fans should be asking themselves why aren't they getting exclusive games day and date on launch? Why is backwards compatibility behind a paywall? Why can't you upscale our games like Xbox does? These are the things you should be asking yourself. But instead, they're celebrating unlimited production. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, we
They're
can hear
celebrating. I saw a tweet where some person said, "Man, isn't it great? I'm happy that Sony isn't releasing their first party exclusives day and date. This is a good thing." And I looked at that tweet and I was like, I didn't even laugh. I didn't even get. I just said, you know what? This is what it's like when you're a part of a cult. This is what it's like when you have to lie to yourself every day over your choice of a plastic box. And it really is sad. it really is sad because I don't hold allegiance to no company like that, to no company to that extent. If Warner Brothers starts messing up with their DC properties, eventually I'll walk away and just say, look, man, I had enough. I always have the original 7 or 8 DCEU movies. Y'all can have this new shit. Star Trek started messing up. I walked away. I was like, this is not my Star Trek. This isn't Star Trek at all. It's Star Trek in name only. That's okay. I've got the original series and I've got the 13 movies. Doctor Who started fucking up. I said, that's all right, man. We got damn near 50 years of the original series and the new stuff from 2005 to 2000. When people start fucking you over, you don't have to keep just smiling and taking it. And I think Sony fans, they're so caught up in this console war. It's so personal to them that they have to lie to themselves every day and say that this PlayStation Plus Ultimate is a great deal. When really it isn't. It's a joke. It's an insult. It's an insult because your own exclusive MLB The Show, you have to pay $70 for it. Well, Game Pass gets it. It's going to be in Game Pass. Like, I just don't understand. I'll never understand them. They're part of a cult. I'm not going to wake them up and let them know they're being robbed. I want Sony to keep on robbing y'all. I want y'all to continue hurting because you're such fools over that stupid company, over that stupid brand, who now apparently is doing whatever they got to do to keep money in their coffers and rob their fan base. Hey, you PlayStation fans, you deserve it. I want PlayStation to keep robbing y'all. But anyway, man, what's it called? PlayStation Plus Ultimate is a joke. It's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious. It is 100% a Game Pass competitor. It's failing horribly right out of the gate. Those are my thoughts.
Yeah, exactly, man. And you put it very, very, very well. And look at Channel's comment here. It's worse than Nintendo. At least they can say this can't be inserted. I mean, that's just ridiculous, man. How it's locked. And the PS3 version of their backwards compatibility, I was reading, is the worst of them all because it's got to be streamed. You can't even install it to your console. You got to stream it. That's the only way to play it. I mean, I'm glad I'm not a PlayStation fan because I wouldn't be able to do it. I wouldn't be able to look myself in the mirror as a grown fucking man and just be this much of a bitch to a company in a country I've never been to when they're ripping me off this bad. But Tuck, what are your thoughts on Sony finally revealing PlayStation Essential, PlayStation Plus Essential, their competitor to Game Pass?
Oh man, E-Rock just numbed it all up for me, but I'm just gonna put my little slide. Okay, I'm gonna put my little slide bit to it next. It. First of all, you got to think like this, okay? Even though we got exclusives coming in day one, we even got some people that like when Plague Tale come out. That's not exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
That's not exclusive to Xbox at all. But it's going to be on the Game Pass.
Right.
Because Microsoft put the money and they gave the developers the money at first. And that's what it's all about. I mean, so in other words, every game is not going to be an exclusive. But they're helping the industry out. And that's one thing I love about the Game Pass.
Oh, and
like I said,
real quick, Tuck. Audience, if you didn't know, a report came out just a few days ago how Microsoft paid over $2.5 billion to indie developers, I believe. Over all this.
Right.
For Game Pass. Mm-hmm.
For Game Pass. So it's all good. It's all good for Microsoft. It's all good for us as gamers. I mean, hey, can you imagine how the gaming industry would look if they had a Game Pass? Because you know how many people we lost, how many developers lost in the last generation.
Yep.
They could have actually made it now. But now, as far as that doggone Sony crap and all that stuff, man, all I gotta say is this for the Sony ponies: if that's what y'all like, that's what you're gonna get. If you want to keep on getting butt fucked by your company, go ahead. Because, like I said today, I'm gonna say it again. I would never ever buy a Sony product That's including their TVs, their systems, their computers. I would never buy nothing Sony again.
Yeah, hey.
I was done with them. I was done with them, period. I mean, but Sony, but these pundits can keep on kind of worshiping that Jack box all they want to. Because our brand, we eating good, baby. We eating good no matter what. So all I gotta say is kudos to the best system out there. And that's it. And that is the Xbox brand, baby. And that's all I got to say on that. And Sony, hey, I'm like E-Rock. Someday, I hope that Japanese box just go away.
Yeah,
and that's it.
Hey, thank you, Tuck. And Emmanuel, man, thank you for the $10. And he said, I'm late, but glad to be able to to catch all you guys brothers live, all you good brothers live. I'm going through my backlog and playing the new Battletoads. Oh, that's a great game. Man, you're going to love Battletoads. Any of y'all beat the original? Hey, that was a tough fucking game back in the day.
Yeah, I beat all three. Original, arcade, and the new one. It's hard, though.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah, but hey, man, so there you go. I beat the new one, the one from 2020. That was tough as well, but it was a lot of fun. The art style is gorgeous. I love that animated art style they did with
it. Yeah, and they poke a lot of fun because they make fun of how long it took for a new game to come out. Where the hell they've been at? Yeah, Microsoft Microsoft been treating them like the redheaded stepchild. They throw a lot of stupid innuendo jokes like that.
Yeah,
which
man,
is funny.
The game is also funny as hell. But yeah, thank you, Emmanuel. Hebot, man.
To
the final one, and then we're gonna wrap it up. So,
okay.
Your thoughts on the Game Pass competitor officially being revealed? PlayStation is now PlayStation Plus Essential. Demos, cloud gaming, backwards compatibility. Please mute yourself. All hidden behind a paywall. What are your thoughts on all that?
I mean, it's been the Sony mantra forever. They the ones that started DRM on the PS3 era. And people tried to basically ignore it and blame it on Microsoft when they announced it. What they wanted to do with the Xbox One, with how the DRM was supposed to work, which was basically to help developers and protect consumers from getting ripped off from places like a Best Buy selling used stuff and like a GameStop, right? That was the whole idea behind it. But people just were not listening. They were just automatically assuming, oh, that means we don't have rights to our stuff. What the hell? Look, Game Pass alone, with the fact that it's day and date games that are exclusive, third party, and from the indie space, right there alone is enough to deter any type of comparison with their offering for their fan base. Because automatically they have 700 games, but most of it is all shovelware, older stuff that's been out forever. Matter of fact, a lot of it is older PS2 and PS3 stuff that we already have in our catalog from multi-plats back via backwards compat, or that are from third generation, 3 or 4 generations of Xbox consoles that we can play for free. All we do is update it to get the enhancements, and we can play them and just put in our games, right?
Yep.
We just slide it in. We just slide them in and we play their games, right? Because the check-in for the online is to get the enhancements. That's basically it, to get them for free, right? To enhance them from whatever they were to the new 4K format, especially with like the OG stuff, right? And we don't pay for it. The cloud-based saving, we don't have to worry about losing our saves when we're transferring when we buy a new console. It's all there free. The dedicated servers. Everybody can put their games on Microsoft's dedicated servers because they're free. They're not peer-to-peer. They just choose not to use it. But when we play Xbox exclusives, we use them, right? With Gears and things like, Halo, which I hope now that they own Activision, they'll put all those games on their dedicated servers too. and not use their old flimsy shit. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't work as good as the dedicated servers do, right? We have that they offer. They offer us freaking punch cards where we can do a punch card, accumulate points, and not have to spend out of our pocket. Do these things within the games that we're already playing and investing in, or even when we buy games right to the store, and pay for other stuff for free. Even the extension of Game Pass, if we want to renew it, we get enough points, we pay it with the points. So there's a lot of different things and perks that in comparison to what they're doing, that just doesn't even come. It shouldn't even be a talking point, because the fact that everything on Xbox is native, it's because you download it and play it, versus streaming. Right there alone, there's no comparison either, because they have to do with the streaming, and their service been like that since they opened it on PS3 with the PSN network, or PSN Now rather, and it's horrible. It works like shit. If you have a bad connection, it doesn't work. It's horrible. So it's definitely not going to be the same as native. So, like I said, if people like E-Rock says a lot of time want to stay asleep, if people want to get jerked, listen, then you stay asleep, you get jerked. Because obviously they don't care, and then they want to use this narrative. Oh no, that they're trying to keep the value of our games, and they don't want it to lose. Really? So then I guess MLB doesn't have no value and it has no quality, because you're still paying $70, and the whole argument is that if a game is $70, it means it's quality. Versus us, that we don't pay $70, we can play day and day for $15 on Game Pass, and we choose to buy it when we are ready to buy it, or when we have the money to buy it. Right?
That's true.
We're not forced to buying MLB day and day, even though it's their exclusive IP or from their internal house. Right? So denial is a big thing. It's a very powerful thing. So, but you can't change stupid, and you can't teach your old dog new tricks if they don't want to learn them. It's all choice. It's all a choice. And if you choose to stay asleep, stay dumb, that's on you. It's not going to change.
That's right.
There's only so much you can do. But to say that it's not their competitor against the Game Pass, obviously that's a lie. Because if it wasn't, Sony would have never united them and unified them and tried to give you a one set price, and would have left it the way they had it from the get-go. The reason why they did that is that they were hoping to entice people and then say, oh yeah, by the way, we got to pay for demos. Shit, we get demos free. A demo is supposed to be free to show people what the game's coming, how is it coming along, what's it going to be like, to give you an idea and kind of entice you. We got games, complete full games there. We can play the entire game and still decide whether we want to buy it or not, And in most cases, as you saw with the numbers, that 40% of the people playing on Game Pass buy more games. So that means they're buying more games because they're getting the opportunity to play these games completely day and day on Game Pass. So there's no argument. It's just there. The proof is in the pudding, right? So that's my thought on that. I mean, like, it's really a waste of breath and time to argue a point that's moot, right? When we know that Game Pass is going to destroy it in every way, because it's just going to get bigger and better, because more people are going to sign up. We're going to get more third-party games day and day, more timed exclusives day and day, more exclusives from in-house day and day, plus indie games day and day. We're supposed to get that Bushido game, that 2D side-scrolling Bushido style game like Ninja Gaiden from back in the day one. They're not going to get that. You know what I'm saying? They got to pay for that. Just like we got Psychonauts, they had to pay for it. So if you like paying money for more games and you don't want to play more games for less money, that's just don't make no sense to me. You know what I'm saying? That's like me saying that, I'm an actor, I'm not married, and I got 100 women that want to give me pussy, but I say, no, I just want 10. I don't want the other 100. I don't want the other 90. Listen, they're willing to give it. If they're willing to give me the pussy, I'm going to take it. You see what I'm saying? I got no ties. I got no disclaimers. I don't have my own myself to nobody. It's free reign when you're single. You fucking whatever you want. Hey, listen, you want to give it to me? Give it to me. I'm going to say no, turn it away. Or that's like somebody saying, I'm going to give you $1 million. And you say, no, just give me 50,000. I don't need the million. Like, get out of here. You crazy? That shit just don't make no sense.
I mean, hey, you got everything, but it's like where's it came out? That's on the Game Pass. But as soon as you want to buy it, they're going to buy it.
Yeah,
Right.
And look, Jake Con said it perfectly, man. He played Fable 3 and still had a save from 2019.
Yes.
And again, all you need, and as long as you have an Xbox account, it comes with it. You don't need to
You
pay
just sign in.
extra for a
Yeah.
basic fucking feature. But hey, guys, I think we're gonna start wrapping it up there. You know, I like to. We're actually closing out a little earlier than I expected, so I'm gonna let us do our final thoughts, do our outros, and then we're gonna call it a night. So,
Well, real
Chuck
quick,
Master,
did you?
man,
I'm
what-
sorry.
hey, what's
I'm
that?
sorry. I'm sorry, Unlimited. Did you talk about the E3 cancellation thing or no?
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, we're gonna give your thoughts on that, and then we're gonna close out with that because Erock
Are you
Chuck and I
sure?
started. Yeah, I started it with
Are,
that. So give your
are
thoughts.
you are you sure?
Yeah,
All
man.
right.
I like to hear your thoughts on these things. That's why I have you on the show. So
Well, I
give your
mean,
thoughts. I mean, yeah, give your thoughts. We're gonna do our outros, and that's how we're gonna wrap it up.
all right. I'll try to make it quick, but it's something. It's hard because E3 has been the staple of this industry
Mhm.
since the early or late 80s, early 90s, I think it is. I don't
Yeah.
know exactly the times frame, but and it goes back that far. But what people fail to forget is that E3 was the reason how and the source and how everybody around the world was able to get accessibility to promote their games, to reach out other people from other countries, because although you can do it with social media, it's still not as personable, right? It's not as personable as when you go in person, meet up with companies and developers
Mhm.
and talk, and then you meet up with people in the community that you know and talk to via, let's say online or through messages or through phone calls. You can hang out and have a good time, and you're celebrating what gaming is as a hobby, different gaming stories. You see a lot of retro history and memorabilia. You see all these great keynotes that these companies set up to show us these games, and sometimes you see games that you won't see until 5 years later, like Harold Halibut, that's nowhere to be found still,
Yeah.
or in the night, right? Games that look really good and interesting, but we still don't know. Um, but at the same time, it's the excitement of it, right? Because it's like the Super Bowl for video games, and it's a whole week event,
Hey,
one
that's
whole week.
exactly what I was saying.
Yeah, it's a whole week event. You get private parties where you get invited, and you hang out, and you get to meet the developers in person, not through a tweet, not through an interview that you see digitally. In person, you can talk to them in person. You know how many people got to meet Aaron Greenberg, Larry Herb, Phil Spencer, even Yoshida, for Christ's sakes, because they went to these events and were able to do that. But I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be honest with you. The death of E3, if it never comes back, right? Because they're saying that they're trying to restructure it, trying to reinvigorate it, or whatever the case may be. But the death of E3, I blame on two things: Sony and the media. That's what I blame. And people are gonna be like, "Well, why are you mentioning Sony again?" Well, let's keep it real. It's because Sony started missing E3s, that everybody started saying it's okay. And that's because they weren't there because they couldn't afford it. It wasn't because it was okay. They couldn't afford to spend all that money and also show off their games. Digitally, they just show them off real quick in a sizzle reel, show you the games and keep it moving, right? So the fact that people justified it to placate and to cater to Sony makes it even all more worse and sad. Because Nintendo first started it because they weren't doing well when they had the big, downset with the Wii when they first started selling well, and then it didn't sell games, and then they went right to the Wii U, and that did horrible for them. Where they even said that if it wasn't for the success of the Switch, they would have gone bankrupt. Right? They came out and said it right publicly, which that's why they started to skip E3 because they said we don't have the money for it. But they were at least honest enough to say it and admit it. They said by us doing those Nintendo Directs, it makes it more affordable for us, but we can still reach out our audience in some way, shape, or fashion. but they would always have a booth at E3 trying to have some type of representation of their product, right? I think it came to a point with Sony where they didn't even have nobody in a booth. I think the last 2 years in the show. You know what I'm saying? And that's why E-Rock has said a joke not too long ago when it said because of all the studios they bought, E3 is just going to be all Xbox because they're the only ones that can afford it. And the reason why people are celebrating this, listen, any person that's celebrating this is not a real gamer. Okay?
Exactly.
It's not a real gamer. They're just people that think that because they play now and they're in the space and they play games that they're considered gamers. No, because if you know the history and the importance and the impact that E3 has always had and what it means to the culture of gaming and the gamers, you would never say that it's great that it's not coming back physically in any way, shape, or form. It's a very sad thing if it doesn't ever return. And it's a very big L and loss for us as gamers.
Yep.
Whether we want to accept it or not, it's never going to be the same. It's never going to have the same magic impact, and we're never going to have the same hype behind it. Okay, so we're supposed to want E3 to come back for whatever reason. But I do agree with a big point that E-Rock said in his video earlier today. I think one of the faults that hurt E3, right, is them having being stubborn, right, and not trying to find a way to allocate the show to big cities like in Philly, right? Like in New York, like in somewhere in Jersey, right? Epcot Center or the Staples Center of MetLife over here, right? Or American Dream and shit like that, where they can actually host these things. And people that live on this side of the world that don't live on the East Coast, right, don't have to worry about, damn, how am I going to save up enough money? I got to go do this. Because for us, it's a fortune. We got to worry about the ticket. We got to worry about the food, transportation, hotel, plus what we spend there. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's at least you need at least $5 or $6 grand. And if you don't believe me, you could ask somebody like Megatron. Megatron was going every year. He could tell you. He would spend 5, 6, 7 grand easily to go E3 every year.
Dang.
Okay, and he got perks from Microsoft because he knows Phil. Like he knows Phil personally. They talk almost every day, right? And Microsoft gave him the VIP treatment, but he still ended up spending that much money. So you could just imagine how hard it is for people like you, like me, like E-Rock, that we're not really rich, but we love gaming and we spend money on gaming, and we've been there since day one. And all we ever thought about since we saw it in the magazines, damn, I want to go to E3, I want to experience it, and still haven't had the opportunity or the fortune to do so, right?
Mhm.
So I agree with that part wholeheartedly with what E-Rock said in his video. I think that one of the things that have hurt it through the years, because it's gotten expensive as well, is not moving to other places and bringing it to other people. Instead of you going to E3, but bringing E3 to them, changing it every year to a different venue. And I think that would help invigorate the hype of E3, because then people are going to be lining up for weeks. Yo, I'm going to E3, and the tickets sell out. Believe me, they'll sell out immediately, almost instantaneously, because people love love participating in events, especially when they come around their hometown, because it makes it more accessible and easier for them, right?
Yeah.
And then they're going to spend that money real quick, and they're going to spend even more money when they go to the show. So I think that's something they should look into, because I think that's one of the part of the reasons why it hurt them to this point.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing is that's been going on is they're saying, oh, E3 is too expensive for the developers and companies, right? So I just think that, and I'm sorry, I know I've been long-winded, but I just think
Yeah,
that
you're good.
we need to try to celebrate it for it to come back as opposed to it not to come back. Because to be honest, when we see these digital keynotes, okay, they're fun to watch, but they feel lifeless. They don't have the same impact. They feel dead. They don't feel magical like they did.
You don't
Well-
get that breathtaking moment with Keanu Reeves at a digital
Right.
event.
Yeah.
Exactly. That you
True,
could actually
true.
take a picture with the guy after the show is over. You see what I'm trying to say? Like those are moments that you emulate in any way, shape, or form through social or digitally or anything like virtual VR or any of that bullshit, right? Because the people, I don't know, it's just people have this mentality of being so antisocial where they only feel that the way to communicate is via online,
Twitter.
texting, or right. That's it. They don't know what it is. It's almost like they don't understand how much more impactful it is when you're in person. It's like when we went to the arcades. That was our online. That's how it started. That was our online community. And it was we spent the whole day there on a Saturday afternoon with our friends playing, chilling, doing tournaments amongst ourselves and just having a good time, eating the fucking hamburgers and french fries, collecting baseball cards. We trade with the people there, like a bunch of shit. It was all part of the culture. And these people now just don't know the magic that is. And that's what the problem is. We're in a big antisocial society now that we lost the whole magic of being human and being in social, things together, in person, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I said it. We shouldn't cheer it. So if anybody cheers it, I personally would say they are not real gamers. That's just my personal opinion, and that's how I truly feel. Because no real gamer cheers that on. They wouldn't. Absolutely not. It's the only thing we got that makes it worth the while that all year long. It's like the biggest thing that we have to celebrate gaming as a whole, and we all unite together. And we're gonna say, "Oh, we don't care if it doesn't exist anymore." I just don't buy that bullshit. For me, I call BS on that. I don't know. That's just me. That's what I think about that.
Yeah, awesome, man. Awesome.
That's
you for
awesome. That's awesome, Ebot.
Yeah. Thank you for giving your thoughts on the matter, man. E3 is important to gaming, and with that, I think that we're going to call it a night there. And oh yeah, absolutely brilliant point by E-Rock about bringing E3 to other places, man. So
That
Tuck,
is good.
hey Tuck, man, let them know where they could find you, Tuck.
Hey, everybody, it's your boy DJ Tuckmaster 785. You can catch me on the podcast called the Xbox Lions Den. I'm doing it every Saturday. I think since we already talked about a lot of stuff today, I might not because we're not very sure. I'm not gonna have anything to talk about tomorrow. So I might do something tomorrow. Might not do something, but that's where you can reach me at. Reach me on Facebook, Instagram. Which is a group of guys that I'm always hanging out with. We get the best group of guys that I think that that talking about gaming, and that's basically about it. But that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, hey, fantastic. And I know that you be everywhere at once, man. So give us your outro. Let them know where they could find you as always.
Yeah, absolutely. First and foremost, happy birthday, E-Rock. God bless you and may all your dreams and wishes come true at this point in your life. Um, it's pretty special to be able to reach 53. I hope I make it because I don't know if I am, to be honest with you. Best wishes to you, brother. I just, haven't had a chance to say nothing. I saw you posted it earlier, but I just been really busy today. I don't think I forgot. I didn't forget,
I know, brother. I know.
And then obviously, to Emmanuel, I know I saw you in the comments. I did the video of the TV. I'm not trying to give myself, no clout, but I did it. If you want to check it out, I did it for you, so you can check it out on the channel. I hope it was insightful and helpful. And yeah, guys, you can find me here in the Unlimited Truth and the Exile every second month of the day of the month, or 2 times a month. With Sega Man on the Alpha. We got next when I can do it, and everywhere where you can socialize and about gaming and find a lot of hate and crazy motherfuckers talking about Game Pass ain't better than Spartacus, such as Instagram or Twitter. You know where to find me. I don't want to be long-winded, but that's it pretty much, guys.
All right.
Thanks for having me on, brother.
Oh, as always. And last but not least, E-Rock probably like, man, why am I spending my birthday talking about this bullshit? But hey,
Right.
but E-Rock, man, let them know where they could find you as always.
Oh no, man, gotta show up and support my brothers, man. You can find me on my.
Hey man, I'm gonna be in New Orleans for my birthday, and that's later this month, so I can't really say the same.
Hey, but that's what's up, man. That's where you're supposed to be. That's what's up, brother. You know, if I could be in New Orleans, I would. Shit, because it's cold as shit up here in Philly.
Oh
But
damn, really?
yeah, man, this weather up here been fucking ridiculous, dude.
Oh shit, I
But,
feel
but,
you, man.
but anyway, man, thanks for the birthday wishes, guys. Always great to be here with Unlimited Production and his crew, man. And everybody, man, get on some gaming and enjoy gaming, and that's about it.
Yeah,
Yes,
hey,
sir.
man. Exactly, perfectly put. And thank you for everybody for joining. You have a great weekend. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we are out.